Good morning, everyone, from the Creation Museum. Here I am in the Natural Selection exhibit. Okay, so while people are getting online, let me tell you, I want to read to you a book this morning. It's a children's book. Won't take long, but I want to read it to you so everyone can get ready there. And tell you what I'll do. I'll have Roger here. This is Roger Patterson.
Morning.
So, Roger, what do you do here again?
I am the manager of the Educational Resources Department and part of our editorial review board. So I get to check all of Ken's writing and make sure it's theologically and scientifically sound.
That is correct. Not only that, he is in charge of writing the Answers Bible curriculum and getting all that done, our 4-year Answers Bible curriculum and other curricula, our online curriculum. Oh, I see a number of people have gotten online here. Okay, so I'll go to your comments and questions in a moment after I've read the book. I want to read to you this book. I want you to give me your thoughts. What do you think of this? Because this was written by, I hate to say this, an Australian scientist.
Wait, they're always complaining that you came out of Australia, so this is just as bad?
Yeah, well, okay. This is written by an Australian scientist, and he's actually a lecturer at a university, and also an American scientist. And they write books for children, and this one's called Evolution for Babies, okay? Okay, I want you to watch this. I want you to watch this because this is incredible. This is how you teach babies, how you teach young children about evolution.
Now, on the cover here, you have this pacifier evolution, it looks like, going from a little circle.
Yeah, going from a
obvious
circle to,
transitional series.
Transitional forms here. So it's called Evolution for Babies, okay? So let's open this up. So here we are. This is a ball. This is a hole. Doesn't tell the babies where the ball or the hole came from, but there's a ball in the hole. The ball fits in the hole, just happens to fit in the hole. By chance, random processes. Oh no, it's gone.
Uh-oh.
See, now, one of the reasons I asked Roger to be here, Roger can tell you, truthfully, he's never seen this book before.
I've never seen it.
I didn't show it to him, and I just want to get his reaction here as, head of our curriculum writers here. Okay, so the balls need to stop going through the hole. Suddenly there's more balls.
Why do they need to stop going through the hole?
Just wait, listen, just
okay.
wait. Okay, what is this special ball? So did you notice there's more balls just appeared? By chance, random processes. They just happen.
And
nobody painted them on the page.
Okay. They look like the other ones too.
Okay, it can make a new ball. Oh, wow, look at that. Just by chance, it just happened. Nobody designed that or put those balls there. It just happened, right? Each new ball is a little bit different. Oh. Okay.
And the power.
Are we still on?
Yeah.
The power just went off. Can you believe it? This is sabotage.
You can see the book still.
We can still see the book. Good. Well, we're going to keep. We're going to keep going, and we still have cell phone. The power went off. I can't believe that. Okay, we're at the Creation Museum with no power. We actually have backup power, so I presume the generators are kicked in. Anyway, we don't know what's happened here. Each new ball is a bit different. Okay, so Roger, I know you're in the dark with this book, but you're in the...
Truly,
okay.
Truly.
Some new balls may be colourful. Look, just happened. Nobody painted the extra colours, they're just colourful. Some new balls may have spots. Just happen to have spots. Some new balls may change shape. Isn't this exciting? This is incredible. This is how you teach kids evolution. The ball decided what it will create.
No.
It became intelligent.
The ball cannot decide.
No, it did. That's what it says here. Oh, the ball cannot decide. Oh, I read it wrong. Okay, no, you're right. It can't decide. Yeah, it can't decide. It just happens by chance.
Can't decide what it will create.
That's right.
Chance.
There's no design. Yeah, all right, of course. What happened is by chance. Exactly. I mean, all these balls here, they change colour. There's extra ones. It all happened by chance.
All by chance.
Right, all by chance. The whole book happened by chance, right? It's just trees turned into this. Anyway, then we have to explain where the trees came from. Okay, let's go back. This new ball is the most colourful ball yet, by chance. And it still falls through the hole. Goodbye, ball. Look, a new ball is made that does not fit. Who made the new ball?
And
it just was made.
Okay, so it happened by chance because it can't decide to be created.
So power's back on.
The power's back on. It is. Okay. I noticed.
So, and that ball can make new balls. And some of these will still fall through the hole. How does that ball make new balls, Roger?
They haven't told me yet. I'm
Okay.
still.
But many will not fit through the hole. And those balls make new balls. And look, they're different. Look at that.
Oh, that
Some
one's
are
got little
striped.
bumps all
Yeah, it's got
over
little
the
bumps on it.
surface.
Yeah, it's getting more complicated. Some of these balls look very different from the first ball. Oh, look at that. Lots of different balls now exist that do not fit through the... Aren't you liking this? Tell me your comments here. I want to know what you think. Imagine reading this to your children. This is called natural selection. Now you know evolutionary biology. Of course.
Well,
there it is.
If
Roger,
only
you believe in creation, and now you've got to believe in evolution. I mean, doesn't that convince you? I mean, this is for children. It's very...
I've got to say, you know, I was actually trained in evolutionary biology and taught high school science and biology and chemistry, and I learned all the arguments for evolution. I believed them for many years and actually taught them in the classroom, and those were the types of things I believed. Of course, this is a very simplified version, but one thing changes into another with slight variation, and there's some...
Just by chance random processes.
Yeah, there's something in the environment that's going to affect how it survives. So I guess that's what the whole represents.
This is what I would call reading a story to your children, right? Because the word story these days actually means fable, which is a reason why you shouldn't use the word story in church. We shouldn't talk about Bible stories or let's read the story of the Bible, because this is a story. This is fable or fiction. And the word story has changed meaning. So there's something really important for us to understand. So there you are. Let's see what people are saying here. The theory of evolution has so many holes in it. I like that. That's pretty good.
That's a pun.
Yeah.
Bodie would be proud.
How can they get away with teaching this as fact for so many years and so on? This makes no sense. Makes no sense. Look, all these new little balls created. Look, go back to the back page there. Look, it says at the end. That's called natural selection. Now, behind me is part of our natural selection exhibit at the Creation Museum. And here we have Darwin's finches with little beaks, big beaks, and, mid-sized beaks.
Yes.
Different species of finches. They were finches, are finches, will be finches, and the beaks will always be beaks. And it's just variation within a kind because natural selection acts on the genetic diversity already there.
So I guess they're assuming that these balls had some genetic diversity built into them, and there was some
Where'd
way
they get
to
them
duplicate.
from? Where'd they get that from?
Yeah, and that's the biggest question. So they're taking us to step 5, and they don't know where step 1, 2, and 3, 4 came from.
I mean, just indoctrinating kids. And it's just, there's so many logical fallacies in that book. You can probably write a book on that.
Well, actually, Ken, now that you mention it.
And also, if you look at these skulls here, these dog skulls that we have, Darwin's finches are used as evidence for evolution in the public schools.
Oh, all the time. It's in every textbook I taught out.
Actually, if you look at these dog skulls, through artificial selection, we get the English bulldog and the Chihuahua. And natural selection, the wolf and the coyote. Notice the wolf and the coyote look very similar in a way.
Yep.
And the Chihuahua and the English bulldog are very, very different. And of course, we know that all the breeds of dogs have been bred by artificial selection in the last few hundred years. And then they say, to get these different species like the wolf and the coyote, that had to take thousands upon thousands of years, or tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of years. But the point is, speciation can happen quickly because the genetic diversity is already there, which God built into it. It's interesting, there's more difference in these dog skulls than there is in these finches. But why are the finches used as evidence for evolution?
Well, they'll call them individual species even, and not having many variations. But within the dogs, they'll call them all one species because they can interbreed and tend to. But we see huge variation. If we were to dig up these as fossils, we'd very likely classify them all as different species. But we know that they were created by that artificial selection process.
So let's go back to this book, Evolution for Babies. Here it is. I just happened to pick it up at a local bookstore. And Roger, if we can just open it up again. But you start to think about it. It just starts off, this is a ball. In other words, the ball was already there, right? You know what makes much more sense? In fact, makes the only sense. In the beginning, God. God's always been there. It hasn't been a ball that's always been there. And then the ball supposedly changes shape and makes new balls and makes them different. But how does it do that? Can't do that by itself.
And why is it bad that it falls down the hole?
Yeah, well, exactly. And then, it gets different colors and so on. Think of how stupid this... I just think it's the most stupid book I've read in a long time. And yet it's out there as... these authors have written a number of different books for kids. It's actually ridiculous. But they've written books on biochemistry and books on DNA and so on. And I'm sure that's observational science, and they're probably pretty good.
Yeah, we could probably use
But
those
this is
as
historical
good
science.
information.
This is not observational science. It's just shocking that a research scientist would actually write good research and write other books dealing with observational science, and they write this nonsense that we have here. There's people saying, I thought maybe it would somehow come around to fitting a square peg into a round hole. So someone says I need to get my money back. There's a number of people from Australia watching. Someone from Perth. There are some other people on here from Australia. And someone said, what is the title of that book? Evolution for Babies? Well, actually, this is, I don't know. This is nonsense for babies. I think that's what I would call it. Hey, you know what, Roger? You actually wrote some articles I want to mention to people. Here's a new book that we just put out recently. It's called Glass House. And this has all the classic arguments for evolution that are used in public schools and colleges refuted. And it's got a whole series of articles there dealing with natural selection, speciation, genetics, and of course the peppered moth and the supposed, useless appendix, which is not useless.
Yeah.
The vestigial organs. So it has all the classic arguments in there, but it's got a whole series of articles dealing with natural selection and speciation. When you correctly understand natural selection, you correctly understand speciation. Contrary to what this book says for babies, and let's go to the last page here again. So after you go through all these balls that came from nowhere, formed themselves and fell through holes and all the rest of it, now you know evolutionary biology.
If it's really that simple...
But I would say that's true, because evolutionary biology teaches nonsense. Evolutionary biology teaches ultimately life came from non-life for no reason, and then suddenly it produced all this complex life, and it makes no sense, and that is evolutionary biology.
And it really does match the fact that as they talk about all of these different steps in the evolutionary process, there's not a lot of evidence that they can point to. They just have to say, well, we trust that the first cell came into existence. We trust that the first information molecule, DNA or RNA, came into existence, and it could encode for traits that then could be produced into proteins and all these things. So they're actually exercising a lot of faith when they make those statements. And you have to accept something like this book.
They have to exercise blind faith. And it's faith, it's a credulous faith because it lacks any evidence. So it just doesn't even make sense. Somebody asked here about what's the purpose of the ball. So, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. Well,
what's the purpose of the ball? What's the purpose of the hole? How can we determine those things?
And by the way, if this is true, then all life arose by chance random processes. There's no God. There's no purpose or meaning in life. Ultimately,
so
there's no right or wrong.
Yeah, where are these parents going to get the source of morality to teach
for
the
their
children?
Kids. Yeah, it comes from balls.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. That's where it comes from. In other words, it's all subjective. What do you want to make it to be? Johnny, do whatever you want. It came about by chance. A few balls dropping through a hole. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
There you are. There's our lesson for today. Hope you enjoyed that. I just had to do that. I saw this book, couldn't resist it, bought it, and couldn't resist sharing it with you. So, everyone, thanks for all your comments, and have a great day.